The Louie T Network is powered by MusicHead University. MusicHeads, classes in session. Turn me up. Enroll on YouTube now. Link is in the description.
Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie T? Welcome to the Command Post Live. You know what it is. Post up. Take command. I, of course, am your Commander-in-Chief, Louie T. Thank you for joining me. So, I told you if we had more news, I'd be back. We have more news, so I'm back like cooked crack. So, what I'm going to do tonight is I want to hear from you guys. So, super chats, phone lines, we're going to get to all of that tonight. Kind of see where you are with all of this now that you've had time to process everything. Things are kind of moving sort of rapidly now, as the decision has been made. You know, felt like we were waiting forever. We get the decision, and now things are just kind of moving. So there have been reports. Nothing has been confirmed quite yet. Barring some kind of unforeseen circumstances, it looks like we have our defensive coordinator, Whitt Jr., who was the Dallas Cowboys secondary / passing game coordinator, is going to come over with Dan Quinn. Whitt Jr. was with Dan Quinn his final year in Atlanta, so that's the connection there. And he brought Whitt Jr. with him to Dallas, and with him and Al Harris, those three were able to transform Dallas's defense in the secondary in particular into one of the better units in all of football. So it's a significant hire if, in fact, he is on board. We have not seen that confirmed yet, but it sounds like it's ultimately up to him to decide. And I was looking at some Whitt Jr. Pressers and things, trying to get a feel for him. And he's a no-nonsense guy. And he said, look, I ruffle people the wrong way sometimes. And he said, I don't care about that. Which I don't care that he's a tough coach. I don't mind that. He balances Dan Quinn's enthusiasm. And I think he's a really good teacher. That's the thing I love about Whitt Jr. He's been a secondary coach forever. He's coached defensive backs forever. And that's what you need. I talked about teachers. I talked about getting this coaching staff to have guys that are great teachers so that you can see the development, that you can see the leaps and bounds taken. That's what we've seen from Dallas. I admire what they've done with those players. There's a reason that when Dan Quinn showed up in 2021, the defense went from one of the worst units we've seen ever in 2020 to a respectable unit that first year with a bunch of turnovers to then in 2022, one of the best defenses, leading the league in turnovers, et cetera, et cetera. And then last year, same deal, right up there in turnovers, one of the best units, top 5 again. And everything except stopping the run. I mean, the Cowboys were really good defensively, and Whitt Jr. and Al Harris, their defensive backs coach, are huge parts of that. You know, so I was listening to Whitt Jr. talk about his upbringing, and he said that his 2 dream jobs were to be the head coach of South Florida and to be the defensive coordinator of the Dallas Cowboys. So if they offered him the job, would he leave? I don't know. But obviously Dallas can't block him from taking the Washington defensive coordinator job because he's not the defensive coordinator in Dallas. But he can stay if they say, hey, we'll give you the defensive coordinator job here in Dallas. He could have a change of heart unless his loyalty lies with Dan Quinn. And Dallas has made no such offer to him, and he comes to Washington. So I don't think you're getting both Al Harris and Whitt Jr., although I would love to get both of them personally. I don't think you're going to get them. And you know, one of the things that he said that was funny to me is that they told him to stay in the box. Like, you can't come down on the field and interact with the players during the game because he can be so harsh at times. So they told him, you stay up in the box. We'll stay down on the field level. Al Harris said, you know, we'll stay down on the field level with the players and communicate to them what you want us to say, because, you know, they have more tact and they have a better way of communicating with the players. So that, I thought that was a little funny. At the end of the day, he is exactly the kind of coach we need in Washington, especially for that secondary. You spent a first-round pick on a guy that literally lost his confidence last year, had it ripped from him by a staff that really didn't do the things that they needed to do to prepare this young man to take that leap from SEC corner to NFL corner. Bringing in a guy like Joe Whitt Jr. would be immense for guys like Quan Martin. I was just doing the Burgundy Zone podcast earlier today, and they asked me who did I think would benefit from Dan Quinn's arrival the most. And I said Quan Martin, because of what I've seen the Dallas Cowboys do defensively with their safeties and how they've revived careers in the secondary and how they've taken young players and developed them very well in the secondary in particular. Even a guy like Marquise Bell, who was a safety they converted to linebacker. He was undersized, he was like 205, 210 pounds, and they had him playing that nickel role down in the box. But even taking a guy like that and getting the most out of him, they did some really good things in the secondary. So I see a guy like Quan Martin, who came on at the end of the season, who just needs a little push, right? Taking that next step. I see a guy like Emmanuel Forbes potentially seeing a massive leap in his second season because of the presence of a Dan Quinn, a presence of a potentially a Joe Whitt Jr. I would love it if they could snatch Al Harris away and bring him too. That would be the icing. That would be the cherry on top. Because if you get that much coaching, you get that good of coaching in the secondary, this thing could, we could see it pop. Hell, Benjamin St-Juste might turn out to be a good player. Who knows? I mean, they've done such a good job. Although I see more of Emmanuel Forbes turning out to be really good with this group than I do Benjamin St-Juste. Because he being Forbes has the same traits and qualities of a Trayvon Diggs and a Deron Bland in terms of ball skills and the ability to attack the football and make plays. That's what made him a first-round pick. Those guys have it. And if you have it, you can't teach that. Either you have it or you don't. And then it's just bringing it out of them and getting them to understand what it is they're seeing, what they're looking at, and how to react to it and make plays. And so our secondary could be the biggest winners in all of this if everything goes the way that we are hearing that it's going to go, which is Joe Whitt Jr. coming over to be the defensive coordinator. Now, Aiden Dirty is interesting. Their defensive line coach. I like him a lot. Now, I know a lot of you probably didn't watch Hard Knocks a couple of years ago. I did the whole series on that Hard Knocks. I enjoyed it. It was really good. I still hate the Cowboys, and you know, I nitpicked at little things that, you know, bothered me. But at the end of the day, it was still good theater to me, at least. And one of the guys that they followed and they found interesting enough to follow around and kind of document him during training camp was Aiden Dirty, their defensive line coach. And they talked about his journey to the NFL, coming from NFL Europe, or, you know, I think he was in NFL Europe. That didn't work out. He played there for like 5 years or something like that. Then he came over, got an opportunity on a couple practice squads, I think, and then ended up getting into coaching. And he's the defensive line coach. They were giving him a hard time because he has a British accent. And he's a damn good coach. You know, all the stuff, the laughs, the jokes, all that good stuff. It was funny, but he's actually a really good coach. He interviewed for a couple of jobs, defensive coordinator jobs, this offseason. He just didn't get any of them. But He's an interesting guy. I like him a lot. And again, there's a tie to Dan Quinn in terms of him being in Atlanta and then coming over to Dallas, where he was very successful. That Dallas defensive line, you can say what you want about them not stopping the run, but boy, did they get to the quarterback, and boy, did they swarm. I mean, they were ferocious up front at times. And a lot of that credit is given to Aiden Durde. And so I like him. And if he were to bring another Cowboy assistant, that would be the other one that I would be looking forward to seeing come along with him. I think that's the short list of the guys that I'm interested in. Joe Whitt Jr., Al Harris, and Aiden Durde are the three guys that I was like, hey, I don't mind them at all. Please, by all means, if you can get them to come on and flip them, bring them, right? I'm all about weakening an opponent. I've told you this already. It's a double whammy. You strengthen your situation, you weaken an opponent at the same time. I mean, if they got to hire Ron Rivera instead of being able to promote Joe Whitt Jr., that's a win for us. Okay. To F what you heard, right? So I'm excited about the potential of getting Joe Whitt Jr. to come here and potentially call the defense. Now, I heard something disturbing, and I bypassed it earlier. We talked about it earlier on the stream when we first heard the news about Dan Quinn getting the job, about him potentially bringing on Chip Kelly, the chipster, as I like to call him, as the offensive coordinator. Didn't really put too much stock into it because I'm like, that's a dumb decision. That'd be a dumb move. Why would you do that? And Jeremy Fowler just reported from ESPN that is, in fact, something that is being mulled over and discussed. No interview or no, actual communication has, taken place in terms of them actually sitting down and trying to hammer something out. But I guess feelers have been put out there as to Chip Kelly wanting to get back in the NFL and maybe Dan Quinn being interested. I would hope that they don't do that. That is not what I had in mind when I think of an offensive coordinator. Again, I want something more traditional. I want some under the center. Like Chip Kelly, we just got out of a strictly shotgun-based offensive relationship. I don't want to go back there. We just got out of a relationship where running the football is not one of the integral parts of the offense. It's not something that is a necessity. The play action for Chip Kelly isn't, because it's all gun-based, so the play action is trash. I don't want that shit. I don't want any parts of that. I hope that is not the direction that we decide to go in. That would piss me off. It really would. I don't know what Chip Kelly, the offensive coordinator, looks like. I only know what the head coach looks like. But I assume he's bringing that bullshit ass spread offense where he's trying to run a play every 15 seconds. I don't want any parts of that shit. I don't know if he would come here and run a more traditional offense in the sense of not, running up to the line of scrimmage and trying to hurry up every 24 seconds and shit like that. Because I remember when he was in Philadelphia, if they went 3 and out, it was like a turnover, essentially. They would go off the field so quickly because it was boom, 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 and, punt. It's all gravy when the shit works. But if it ain't working, it's a problem. So I don't want any parts of that shit. I hope there's no real legs to this situation. I hope that this was just one of these situations that bared mentioning. There was slight exploration, and then you said, "Nah, we're going to go in a different direction." I hope that's just a rumor that's circulating, but there's no validity to it. I want nothing to do with Chip Kelly. Nothing, zero, zip, zilch. So we'll keep an eye on that situation because that is not ideal at all. So, and everything's new. Everything is happening so rapidly. You can't believe everything that you see. Even the Joe Whitt Jr., I'm still not 100% sold that that's a done deal, because I haven't seen it reported by any major outlets. I haven't seen the Adam Schefters, Ari, or Ian Rappaport, or the team, or anybody. I haven't seen any major insider report that that's a done deal, right? We've heard that that's more likely than not to take place, but more likely than not to take place and actually being done is two different things. And we've seen guys have a change of heart. I told you the man literally said his dream job is being the defensive coordinator of the Dallas Cowboys. If they offer him that opportunity, would he turn down coming to Washington to stay and take his dream job? You would like to think that that's what he would do. So we'll see. He's not going to wait around for the Cowboys to mull over a decision and decide what they want to do. If you want to start taking interviews with guys outside the organization, screw you. I'm going to Washington to become a defensive coordinator. I don't have time to bullshit with you. So hopefully he's coming to Washington, but we'll keep an eye on all of the moves. We talked about this for the vast majority of the stream earlier. One of the most important hires is going to be the offensive coordinator. So we're going to be watching that one like a hawk. Don't bring no Chip Kelly bullshit up in my house, okay? I'm not playing with you. Don't you bring no Chip Kelly shit in my house. So we'll see what happens. But shit's getting real, right? Shit's getting real, as you would expect. So let's get to the comment section. I'm going to open up the phone lines here in a bit. Let me check to see if I have the phone lines available to me. Yeah, I've got the phone lines here available to me. So we'll open up the phone lines in a little bit. But for the meantime, we'll get to these supers first. And then y'all know how this goes. Supers come first, phone line second. And then, we'll get out of here. I'm not going to hold y'all too long. But let's get to the comment section real quick, see what y'all talking about, and then we'll open up the phone lines. Okie Boys Mining. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, was hoping for Lincoln Riley for head coach. Should look to college ranks for OC. Bring back Harris from the Titans. We've heard that, the college thing is a real thing. You saw Cliff Kingsbury get an opportunity with the Raiders. So I wouldn't rule anything out. But if they're talking about Chip Kelly, that means they're opening the search and looking some everywhere. I mean, Chip Kelly is about as unconventional as you can get. So that means if that's true, and we don't know if that's legit or not, but when you hear it from a guy like Jeremy Fowler, who works for ESPN, you'd like to think that there's some sort of validity to it. So hopefully that's not the direction that they're going, but they're open to a lot of different things if they're considering Chip Kelly. Lincoln Riley, I don't think he's cut out for the NFL. I really don't. He's been, talked about for years. Him getting that SC job, I think, is where he probably wants to be. And maybe after a run there, if he wins a natty or two, he might decide to try his hand at the NFL. But right now, it feels like he's cut out for college. I don't see Lincoln Riley as a NFL guy, but we'll see. Video channel. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, shout out to Law for the assist on Joe Whitt Jr. You might be referencing the tweet I put out on X, thanking him for the assist and doing a little alley. He had a little clip of Joe Whitt Jr. talking about how he balances out the excitement and exuberance of our new head coach, Dan Quinn. And I love that cerebral approach that he spoke about in that clip where he talked about how everybody's excited, jumping up. You know, we've seen Dan Quinn hat turned backwards, up in the press box, jumping up and down, hands in the air after a pick six, and everybody's going crazy and nuts. And Joe Whitt Jr. is like, while everybody's celebrating, I'm like, yo, I'm worried about special teams. We got an extra point. We got to kick the ball off. We got the kickoff unit. You know, Duran's on kickoff unit. He's gassed because he just ran a pick six back. We need to get somebody else up there. Like, he's thinking about the next snap. And you need guys like that. That's how you balance things out, right? Can't have everybody celebrating, and then that's how you end up with 13 guys, 12 guys on the field, or 10 guys on the field for the extra point, right? So I'm excited if in fact Joe Whitt Jr. is coming to Washington. Okie Boys Mining, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, bring back Bill Callahan, O-line assistant head coach. So funny that you bring him up. He literally just got a job so he was already in Cleveland, first and foremost. But Cleveland allowed him to get out of his contract and leave for the same position in Tennessee. So he's going to join Brian Callahan. I think they're related in some way, shape, or form. Might be his son. So that's why they let him go, because I think it's his son, and he wanted to go work for his son. So he's going to Cincinnati. JP, stand up. You are the newest member of the MOBB. Glad to have you on board, JP. Appreciate you becoming a member. My guy, John Perez, welcome to the squad. Glad to have you. RJ Enigma. Or Enigma RJ, excuse me. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Enigma RJ writes, sup, Lou? Sup, Enigma? Says, the one problem I have about Quinn is that he's Dallas's leftover. However, can say he knows, feels it, and felt. Hold on. Let me slow down. Maybe I'm not reading this. However, can say he feel to go through what we've been through. Yeah, this one is not worded very well, RJ. Says, so therefore I'm going to go with a wait and see. Sounds like you're saying that he knows what it feels like to go through what we're about to go through. It sounds like that's what you're trying to communicate. Because when he got to Dallas, their defense was awful. When he got to Atlanta, that wasn't a very good football team either. They weren't terrible like we are. And they had Matt Ryan already, and they had Julio Jones, and they drafted Calvin Ridley. They were not trash. But they weren't great either. So, look, we talked about that all the morning, afternoon, about Dan Quinn, the hire, the fact that he wasn't the sexiest coaching hire, but it might be what we need. You know, we did the exciting hire last year as offensive coordinator, and look where that got us. I've been through enough exciting hires as a fan, whether it was Spurrier, Gibbs 2.0, Shanahan. Those were all exciting hires, every last one of them. Hell, even Rivera was an exciting hire. F what you heard. It's easy to look back now after what he did here and dismiss him. When we got him in January of 2020, that was an exciting effing hire. Those shits didn't pan out, and they didn't produce anything for us. So I'm about substance at this point of my fandom. Hopefully Dan Quinn is about bringing some substance to the table. We'll see what happens. As far as him being Dallas's leftovers, I don't view it that way. It's funny because Cowboys fans, like, this is what happens when you're a prisoner of the moment. Yeah, your lasting image of Dan Quinn is giving up a 48 spot to the Green Bay Packers in wild card weekend and getting bounced from the postseason. It wasn't pretty. It was a terrible defensive performance. Guys were wide open, gaping holes in the defensive line, big runs, etc., etc. You name it, they did it in that game. But still, let's not act like this man didn't turn Dallas's defense around and turn them into one of the better units in all of football for the last 3 years. Let's not act like in that 3-year stretch when he was in Dallas, the Cowboys don't have the most turnovers forced over that 3-year span. Let's not act like that, because they do. They had 93 turnovers forced in 3 years. That's an average of 31 turnovers per season, bro. We had 55 turnovers forced in that same time frame. So 2 of those seasons equals R1, or our 3 seasons rather. 2 of those Dallas seasons with the turnovers equals all 3 of our seasons, and they still got 6 to spare. Because we had 55 total turnovers in 3 years. They had 93. It's not even close. It's not even debatable. So I don't see it as leftovers. I see it as a loss for Dallas, and it may be our game. We'll find out. But I know we just hurt Dallas. I do know that. Whether they want to admit it or not, we just hurt them. Guys like Dan Quinn don't grow on trees. Hoodie H, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, Chip or EB? LOL. I'm going to take option C. Neither. Okay? Neither. I don't want no parts of either one of them. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, JP. My guy, John Perez. Thank you for becoming a member of the MOBB, who writes, good to see you as always, Lou. Likewise, JP. Likewise. Heard that Chip Kelly is being considered for OC. I might puke if that happens. I think that's going to be both of us there, bro. I stated this at the top of the show. I want nothing, and I mean nothing, to do with the Chipster. Absolutely zero, zip, zilch. He better not be here in Washington. That would put a damper on whatever luster and shine that we tried to put on this Dan Quinn hire. That to me would be that would put a damper on it a bit. Okie Boys Mining, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, does Quinn run a 4-3 or a 3-4 defense? So technically it's a 4-3, but his base is a nickel. So it's sort of like what you saw here in Washington. So it's 4 defense. It's really more of a 4-2-5 defensive look. So that extra linebacker, that third linebacker, is really like a hybrid safety. So it's more nickel than it is 4-3, if that makes sense. Art by Rapid, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, what's up, big bro? What's going on with you? I got 2 questions. What if Al Harris is our passing game coordinator? And last question, do you think we keep Curl? So I think, and this is what I was mulling over, right? Is pass game coordinator an upgrade over secondary coach, over defensive backs coach? That's what his title was in Dallas, defensive backs coach. Is that an upgrade? I think it is. I think pass game coordinator, defensive pass game coordinator, is an upgrade over defensive backs coach. And if that is in fact the case, and they don't give him an upgrade in title, we could poach him. And that's what I was thinking. I was like, could there be a scenario where you get Joe Whitt Jr. as your defensive coordinator and Al Harris as his right-hand man as the pass game coordinator, the defensive pass game coordinator. That's my ideal situation. But I don't know if that's technically an upgrade or not. I think it is. But we're getting into technicalities here. I'm not sure. And again, Dallas can put an end to all of that by just simply giving this man an upgrade in title. They can make him their pass game coordinator if they want to keep him. They can make him their defensive coordinator if they want to keep him. How bad do they want to keep him? And how bad do we want to pry him away from them? We'll see. Do we keep Curl? I don't know. That's a great question. I think his versatility would be very welcomed here by Dan Quinn. I think he could play that Marquise Bell role very well in this defense. So I think there is value in him playing in Dan Quinn's scheme. But again, at what price? How much do you value what Cam Curl brings to the table? And do you think we can find somebody else to do that for a much cheaper price? That's the question. Benjamin Slade, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. I'll just say this. My gut feeling on it is he's not back. That's my gut feeling. That's my gut. He's not back. But we'll see. We'll see. Benjamin Slade, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, if Rivera don't hire EB stays in Kansas City. He may be our coach next week. Bullet dodged. You never know. I don't know if he would have gotten the job here. I don't know if Adam Peters would have been, buying what he would have been selling. But at the end of the day, I want nothing to do with Eric Bieniemy. And I wish him nothing but the best. I do not have, as much as it may sound like I do not have any ill will against this man. I wish him nothing but the utmost success in all of his future endeavors. They just cannot be here. Go be great somewhere else. DJ23, thank you for being a member for 12 months. Appreciate you being a member of the MOBB, who writes, I'll get behind DQ. I'll get behind DQ, but Chip, hell no, can't do it. Won't do it. Can't win with it. Won't win with it. They better not do it. I'm putting that on the list next to the EB. Do not hire. We put him on the do not hire list. That's a good one. Put his ass on the do not hire list. Open up his file, and it should be in big ass red stamp. Whoop, do not hire. Get his ass out of here. And for EB, his shit say no rehire, right? Kevin the PRF, been a member for 21 months. Really appreciate you, who writes, I was peeping Law trying to get a take on Whitt earlier. He over there talking about how much Rivera covets the linebacker position. I'm still on the floor like 12 shots deep. There's this narrative about Rivera and how he's this linebacker whisperer because of what he was able to do with Thomas Davis and Luke Kuechly, right? I mean, we know what we saw here for 4 years. He ain't no damn linebacker whisperer. That's for damn sure. So maybe, and you know what? I got to take this into consideration. Maybe, just maybe, he's a much better linebacker whisperer when he's not coaching an entire team, when he's just focusing on the defensive side of the ball. Maybe he's excellent at developing linebackers when he gets to spend that one-on-one time and really dive in exclusively to just the defense. Maybe. We ain't see that shit here, though. So we can't vouch for that. But let them think that that's what he is. Because Philadelphia was saying, LB was saying that same stupid ass shit. So let that narrative, that false ass narrative, permeate throughout the division. Hopefully somebody gives him some work. Looks like Dallas is the next team up on his interview tour. JP, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, it's pretty much a foregone conclusion that we're going quarterback at 2. Question is who they want. Who do they want? Do you stay at 2 for Daniels or May, or trade up for Caleb? And again, the trading up for Caleb is out of our hands. It only becomes a matter of, do you trade up if Chicago makes him available, makes the number 1 pick available? Which I still don't see them doing. Still don't see them doing that, but stranger things have happened. Christopher McLaughlin, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, my guy. Chris, thank you for your generosity as always. Chris writes, hey, Lou, hope all is well with you and the fam. Likewise, as always, hope everything is good in your neck of the woods. 2 questions. It says, 1, how do you see the defense for us being different than Dallas with the personnel and approach with Quinn as head coach in his new DC and new DC? Second question, how much of this do you believe is leadership and culture higher first, and why? So take them in the order in which you ask them. How much do you see the defense being different than Dallas with the personnel? So they got to go get the pieces. I don't think we have all of the pieces that are necessary to turn this into what Dallas was able to create. Because that's why I said Dallas, a lot of those players that were there the year when they were awful in 20, before he got there, were there when he turned it around the next year. So it's not like they went out and got a bunch of players. Now, Micah Parsons was their first round pick. That helps a hell of a lot, clearly. And, they brought in some of Dan Quinn's guys like DeMonte KZ and Keanu Neal. Those guys were brought in to kind of help implement the scheme and, bring that level of physicality that he wanted to show the players. This is what we expect. This is the level of physicality we expect you to play with. This is the type of speed and aggression we expect. Like, that's why Ron wanted to bring in Thomas Davis and did that first year, to kind of show them, hey, this is what I expect. This is what he expects. He wanted a leader on the field to kind of help implement his stuff. You may see a little bit of that. He may bring in a couple of players that he's comfortable with, that know his scheme, and they know that those guys will come in and execute it. But they're going to have to draft some players. Who are we kidding? There's no Leighton Vander Esch here. There was stuff already in Dallas. DeMarcus Lawrence, and I think I'm pretty sure they had already drafted Trayvon Diggs, because Terry cooked him. That was his rookie season in 2020. Terry cooked him for the touchdown. So Trayvon Diggs was already there, right? They already had stuff. He just had to go in and clean it up. He's going to have to go get some of that stuff here. But I'm interested to see what they decide is the best utilization of this defense, because we've seen Dan Quinn as a coordinator evolve over time. In Seattle, straight cover 3. You knew what you were getting. Can you beat it? Then that kind of evolved into a lot more zone-based defense in Atlanta. And then as he got to Dallas, it transformed into a lot of man. Right? A lot of aggressive man. You got to have the right personnel to play aggressive man. As we saw last year, Emmanuel Forbes was not cut out for aggressive man. Somebody lied to Benjamin St-Juste and told him he's cut out for aggressive man, because Benjamin St-Juste loves to get up and press as if he's a 4-3 guy. But in reality, the man is a 4-5 guy, and he gets cooked once he gets beat off the line of scrimmage. And so we're not made for press, man-to-man, aggressive style defense, which is what Dallas played a lot of aggressive man-to-man in your face, running with you from the line of scrimmage. May not put my hands on you at the line of scrimmage, but I'm right here in your hip pocket. That ain't what we about. So we may see a hybrid. We may see him go back to sort of the defense he was playing in Atlanta. Who knows? This is what I can assure you, though. No matter what defensive scheme they go with, whatever they use as a base, in terms of zone, man, et cetera, they're going to fly to the football. I know that. They're going to look to produce turnovers. I know that. 11 hats to the ball. No loafing. No, damn, why are we not rallying? This dude missed the tackle, but ain't nobody else. Nah, it's going to be 6, 7 dudes flying to the ball. That's how you create turnovers. I do know that, and I do feel good about that. You also asked, how much of this do you believe is leadership and culture higher first, and why? They made it a point of emphasis, especially Adam Peters, during his presser, to emphasize we want the best leader. We're not looking for offense or defense. We're looking for the best leader. And from all accounts, from all the people I've heard from, Logan Paulson, KJ Wright, ex-Cowboys, guys that are still on the roster, they all say the same thing to a man. I saw a tweet from John Keim, from former Washington guard Chester, Chris Chester. And he talked about that was the best experience he had as a player, was Dan Quinn. So the leadership factor is definitely important, and I think they definitely prioritize that. I also heard something very interesting from Adam Schefter. He said that Washington really wanted to avoid. Now, again, I still think Ben Johnson was the number one fish that they were looking to catch, and they would have made an exception for him. But what it boiled down to, I think, after Ben Johnson wasn't in play, was they really didn't want to pair a first-time GM with a first-time head coach. And then on top of that, you're probably throwing in a rookie quarterback. That's a lot to ask. So I think they went with the approach of, we got the first-time GM. Let's get the guy that's a tremendous leader. He's done this before. And we don't have to worry about the newness of him being a head coach and all of that comes with it. So that's another thing to factor in. But I do think the leadership was a huge part of him being hired here in Washington. Thank you once again, Chris. Q-Dog, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Q-Dog writes, what do you want us to do with John Allen? I don't want us to do anything with John Allen. I just want players to want to be here. I'm not looking to hold anybody hostage. I have no issues with John Allen. He's a good football player. Some of you think he's overrated, this, that, and the third. I think he's just fine. I think he's John Allen. He's a good football player. He's not great, never has been great, but he's a damn good player. And you can win a lot of football games with Jonathan Allen as one of your defensive tackles. And don't forget, he was playing with plantar fasciitis this year. So if you thought he didn't have a great year, that's fine. But he was injured. That's a fact. That's not fake news. So I still think he's a damn good football player. I'd love him to be here. And he's the kind of guy you want in that locker room. He's going to hold guys accountable. He's going to be a hype man. He's going to do all of those things. And he's going to play well. I want us to keep him, but I want him to want to be here too. B-Rad, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. B-Rad writes, fan since 72. DQ is status quo move. New boss, same as the old boss. I would have taken a chance on something fresh and differentiate ourselves, but I'll be watching it play out. Still a fan. So I've heard players like KJ Wright come out and say, this ain't Ron Rivera 2.0. You didn't just hire another Ron Rivera. This dude's different. And I'm like, I hear you, but you didn't play for Ron, KJ Wright. So how you know it's different? But he was just pretty. And I'm like, you didn't play for Dan Quinn, the head coach, either. You played for Dan Quinn, the defensive coordinator. It's different. I've already said, being a defensive coordinator is like being a substitute teacher. You get to be the cool guy. You know, Hey, y'all can get out of y'all seat. Y'all can go, you can talk and get out of your seat and go talk to your friends and stuff. As long as y'all keep it down, right? Don't do too much. Like, you get to be the cool guy. It's different when you're the head coach. But again, I've heard nothing but good things about Dan Quinn. You know, the energy levels don't change. The message doesn't change. He cares about you on a personal level, which players, that shit matters to players. Because again, I always tell y'all, a lot of people forget this, especially fans. These are human beings we talking about here. These are not robots. They're not machines. They're actual people that have families and lives and feelings. And they're just like us, except they play football or play a sport for a lot of money. And they're probably not necessarily in football. In basketball, yes, they're a lot taller than we are too. Most of us. Some of y'all are some tall ass bastards out there. I used to get mad at people that were really tall. I was like, yo, that's wasting all of that goddamn height. Let me get that shit. I've been an athlete with that damn height. But anyway, I don't know if that's that much different from Rivera. I remember seeing an interview with Tress Way talking about when his dad passed during COVID and how Ron would check up on him every day. And he got choked up talking about his dad and how he didn't make it. His dad passed away, but Ron would check on him every day. So I think that shit is all the same. Like, you could try to make it sound like it's different, but what's ultimately going to be different is the results. That's what we're looking for. You want to tell me it's different? Cool, I'm listening, but I don't really care. That's just in one ear, out the other. What's going to be different for me is the results. That's what I'm looking for. The lip service, you can keep that shit. You can trot out as many players as you want, because the same shit happened with Ron. They tried out a bunch of ex-players, all these coaches. He had great, reviews around the league. I've heard all of this shit before. And I'm not telling you that it's Ron 2.0. I'm not saying that. I'm just telling you what I won't be duped by is all of these ex-players, executives and people inside the league that have glowing things to say about Dan Quinn and how this is a great hire for Washington. Cool. All of that shit is great. I would rather hear that than you say this is a terrible, lousy hire for Washington. This guy doesn't get it. Yada yada. I'm glad that it's not that. I'm glad everything that I'm hearing is positive. I still need to see it though. I'm looking at these hires. I'm looking at how y'all move this offseason, and then we'll get into the season and see what happens. So I hear you, B-Rad. King of the Bluegrass. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, I think people are sleeping on Coach Quinn. Maybe. It's easy to sleep on a retread. That's what happens to retreads. Because you think, oh, seen that movie before. You got something different? Nah, that's what we watching? I already seen that. Wake me up when it's over. You got to show them that this ain't the same movie from last time. Christopher McLaughlin. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, my guy, Chris. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Hey, Lou, what is the one thing that has you the most optimistic about Quinn being our head coach, and why? And what is your biggest area of concern and why? The thing that I'm most optimistic about is what he's going to do to this defense. We were awful. I didn't realize it until the season was over just how bad we were. This was statistically the worst defense I've ever seen in Washington. And that's hard to do because there were years where we couldn't stop 3rd and 27 if we tried. We were the worst third down defense statistically when Jack Del Rio showed up here in 2020. And I remember that 2019 season just sitting here helplessly on 3rd and long, knowing they converting that shit. It was the worst. But this team defensively exceeded the level of ineptitude that I didn't think could be reached. So defensively, I'm looking forward to what he's going to bring here. The mindset, the mentality, the turnovers, something we've lacked for a very long time here in Washington. I think he's going to bring that defensive accountability, aggressiveness, physicality, speed, which I think we do have defensively, or at least we did have defensively, losing your defensive ends and, moving on from some other guys that were here that did run very well. We're not the fastest defense anymore, but Dan Quinn's usually pretty good at injecting speed and life into a defense. So that's the thing I'm most excited about and optimistic about. As far as my biggest area of concern is, what did you learn from your last opportunity as a head coach? What are you going to do to not have history repeat itself? That's my biggest area of concern. That could easily morph into, what are you going to do on the offensive side of football? Clearly, we're talking about Chip Kelly potentially being our OC. That shit scares the hell out of me. So that could easily turn into my biggest concern. What are you going to do offensively? Yeah, the defense is playing well, but we still can't score no damn points, or the offense is horrible. So that could turn into an area of concern very, very quickly. But we'll see. Right now, I just prove to me that you're more of the 2 years in Atlanta with Kyle, the year with Kyle Shanahan that you went to the Super Bowl in 16, and then the year after when he left and you still went 10-6 and won a playoff game and should have beaten the Eagles in the divisional round. Show me that you're more of that guy than you are the other years where you were pretty much mid, 8-8, 7-9, 7-9, and then 0-5 and getting fired. Show me that you're not that mid coach. King of the Bluegrass. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes 8 or 9 wins is just as reasonable as 4 or 5 when you have an exciting defense. Defense is awesome, but you can have a great defense and still lose a lot of ball games, as we all know. We watched defenses in Denver the last 4 years, specifically with Vic Fangio as their head coach, be stellar every year. And because they were garbage on offense, win 5-6 games. We watched the Jets this year. Lights out defensive performances. How many games did they win? 6? And they were lucky to win those. They probably should have probably won 3 games or so this year with the defense that they put on the field, which was outstanding. But the offense was trash. It doesn't matter how good your defense is. If you can't score points, we know firsthand. We're the number 3 rated defense in the league in 2022. That got us 8 wins, which was cool. But that could have easily have been 5 wins. There were games that we won we had no business winning. And there were games we lost that we had no business losing. So it balanced out when it was all said and done. But we should have lost to Chicago. We should have lost to Indianapolis, right? Like, we can go down the list of games that we won that year that we should have lost. So at the end of the day, we'll see what happens. But having an exciting defense only takes you but so far. You better be able to score some damn points. Joe Davila, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, how do you view our current players in DQ scheme? Honestly, I don't think we have enough. They got to go out and fill up the cabinet. It's pretty bare. I mean, we got enough to make like some hood meal, but it ain't enough to actually make real spaghetti. Like, you might be able to make like tuna casserole out of the shit we got in the pantry. I mean, that's cool if you into that, but I actually want spaghetti. So I think there are workable parts. Defoe, and Cam Defoe and Quan Martin and Emmanuel Forbes and John Allen and Deron Payne and Jamin Davis. These are all pieces that Dan Quinn can utilize. Kendall Fuller if he's back. But I'm just going with the guys that are under contract for next season. You might not have no choice but to use Benjamin St. Juste. But right now, that's pretty much the extent of the guys that I trust at all defensively right now that are under contract for next year. So there's a lot of work to be done. I think the guys that I just named would play well in Dan Quinn's defense. He'd get the most out of those dudes. I have no doubts. Zoe Life, No Life. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, forgive me for being overexcited, but with Peters and Quinn, we might see a very elite defensive unit. We obviously need to find our Parsons, though. Those don't grow on trees. So I'm not going to sit and tell you that you're just going to find a Micah Parsons. But he didn't have a Micah Parsons in Atlanta, and that defense wasn't elite, but they were good enough. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm excited about Dan Quinn and his ability to turn the defense around. I want to see what's going to happen, though. He's not the defensive coordinator here. He's the head coach. And I have to keep reminding myself of that. He's been excellent as a defensive coordinator everywhere he's been. He is not a defensive coordinator here. He's a head coach. That's different than being a defensive coordinator. So I just need to see it. Personally, I just need to see it. Benjamin Slate, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, any of our players on the roster win today? Like Forbes, Davis, Martin. Forbes and Martin in particular are the two biggest winners, I think, after today's developments. If Joe Whitt Jr. is also coming along for the ride, those are the two biggest winners to me, right off the top. Quan Martin, Emmanuel Forbes, two young guys with a lot of talent, with speed, that have playmaking ability, that have ball hawking principles and find themselves around the football quite often. Those are guys that I can see benefiting from the presence of a Dan Quinn and potentially a Joe Whitt Jr. Lang Hughes, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. I think that's a double up I might be thinking about earlier, but right. Shady ran crazy under Chip. Very balanced. I'm not sure if Chip Kelly's offense works in today's NFL. Maybe back then when teams weren't spreading you out as often and that run game looked a little bit different to defenses because it was a little bit unconventional back then. Now in today's NFL, where teams are spreading you out all the time and teams are used to defending gun runs, I think they're going to shut that shit down. And Chip Kelly, I don't know if he'll be able to run it effectively. He came in the league, and I think he had immediate success. And then what happened when he went to San Francisco the next year? Dog shit. Fired after 1 year. Might have been 4-12, might have been 3-13, might have been 2-14. Straight garbage can juice. So I'm not looking forward to that. I don't even want any parts of that shit. Just Andre, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, I'm excited to see what DQ does with Percy. That's another dude that could benefit from coaching change. Really talented, tons of ability, but his level of incompetence, though, I don't know if they'll be able to deal with that shit. He's a very frustrating player to me. Because for all the talent that he potentially has, too many mental mistakes. They call them MAs, right? Missed assignments. Too many of those, poor angles, missed tackles. that level of incompetence is something that probably frustrates a coach more than anything else. Maybe lack of effort, because you control that. But which you don't get from Percy. It's never a lack of effort on his part. It's just he'll take the worst angle in the world and give up a 47-yard touchdown run when it should have been capped at 13 yards. We saw it in the New England game against Ramondre Stevenson. That never should have been out, 66 and out of the gate or whatever it was, 52 for a touchdown. He should have capped that shit at 14. Took the worst angle I think I've seen all season long and gave it up. Kenneth Walker touchdown. I think that was on him too. So, yeah, no. It'll be interesting, though, because he's got speed. He's got some shit you can't teach. And coaches love guys with tools. And he's toolsy. King of the Bluegrass. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes? Also, Coach Quinn brings players here that wouldn't normally come, would not come here. Adam Peters might bring dudes here that might not have come here before. Who knows? I think it might be a combination of the two. Whatever the case may be, I don't know who we would attribute that to. There may be some players that say, yo, I'll go play for Coach Quinn wherever he at. Love it. Great. But we'll see. I don't know if that's going to be like a big thing. Miss P, been a member for 28 months of the MOBB. Who writes, PSA, thumbs up the stream. Y'all heard Miss P. Don't make her say it twice. Hit the thumbs up. Appreciate the public service announcement, Miss P. Barrett Downing, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Who writes, if Kelly comes, they will surely get cardio, LOL. Oh, you damn right. They're going to have to be in shape because he's going to run the shit out of their ass. I'm not speaking that shit into existence. Don't bring your ass here, Chip Kelly. Stay your ass at Euclid. Rail Goated. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Rail writes, give me Shermer. I need an OC that won't get any head coaching looks. That's a really poor take. That's a poor approach. I'm really cool with that on the defensive side. I don't want that on offense. I don't want a guy that nobody else is looking at. I want a coach that's going to be innovative, that's going to be creative, that's going to make teams pause and say, you know what? I would love to see if that guy would make an excellent head coach. Those are the guys that get it done in this league. Look around at the NFL. Look around at the play callers. Look around the league. How many old hag play callers do you see around the NFL right now? How many 63-year-old play callers you see in the NFL? I don't know the answer to that. My guess is 0. That's my guess. I could be wrong, and there could be 2 or 3 oldie but goodies hanging around, but those guys are gone, man. It's all young boys that's calling plays, man. It's all young guys. That's what I want. That's what I would prefer. Chris 412. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Chris writes, Chip and Daniels could be crazy. Now that could be really nasty, and maybe that's why that came up. They're thinking ahead and they're thinking about that potential combo. But because if they want Daniels, they could draft him. The Bears aren't taking him at 1. So they know they're getting him if they want him. And that may be why they decide to go with the chipster, because Jaden Daniels has played in the offense similar to that. I think the one in Arizona State was kind of similar to that. I think, not sure under Herm Edwards if he was playing in that much of a spread, but I still don't want any parts of Chip. But that would be intriguing, but I don't want any parts of that shit. They can keep that. Donald Bonner, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, What is a good season to you? Meaning, what do you want to see or must see for you to believe this is where I want to be? I can't put a number on it. I just know what I want it to look like. I want to see growth. I want to see a team competing, not getting their brains bashed in. I want to see adjustments being made. I want to see smart football. I want to see a team that, like, literally, Adam Peters said, you're going to see a team that plays hard and competes, and it's going to be tough, and all the things that you want to see that we didn't see last year, that we lacked last season. We lacked a spine. We lacked backbone last season. When shit got tough, we folded last season. There was no resistance. When the Bears came out and smacked us in the mouth, we ran home, crying to our moms. On national television, we got embarrassed and nobody stood up and did nothing about it. When the Giants punked us in the first quarter last year, we ain't do nothing. Literally nothing. We didn't have any points until the fourth quarter. We literally didn't do nothing. This team lacked the ability to meet adversity head on and fight. You want to know the difference between us and say a San Francisco or let's just go with San Francisco, because they were down twice in the postseason. They could have got blown out in that championship game. They were down 24-7. If they were Dallas, game was over. But they didn't fold. They didn't quit. They met that adversity head on, and they came back and they won that game. Now, Quinn was a part of that Dallas team that didn't handle the adversity well at all against Green Bay, and they folded and lost. But we'll see. As a head coach, he was the coordinator. He didn't have control of the whole team. He could only control his side of the ball, and they didn't play well. But I want to see a team that competes from the beginning of the game to the end, that makes adjustments, that handles the clock well, that challenges plays when they're supposed to challenge them. Just goes for two when they should go for two. That's aggressive, that's looking to win, not playing not to lose. Like, there are little things that I'm looking for. If that turns out to be a 7-win season in year one of a rebuild, but we won some games we weren't supposed to win, we were in just about every single game, and you felt like, man, a couple balls bounced our way here, a couple calls went our way here, we could have won 10, 11 games. Like, that's what you're looking for. You want to walk out of that first season and say, hey, we got ourselves a quarterback. Hey, this defense, you get one or two pieces more on this defense, this shit about to be lit. Like, that's the kind of conversations I want to be having. But it's got to look a certain way. I can't put a number on it. It's just got to look a certain way. And we all know what that look is. That first year of Rivera, when we went 7-9, we left that season saying, hey, them boys play hard. They got heart. You ain't blowing us out. We add a couple pieces. We get ourselves a quarterback. Look out. Obviously, we never found that quarterback. We never took that next step. Those pieces that we were referring to, we never really got them. But that's going to change with Adam Peters. He's going to get us those pieces. At least we think he is. If we leave that first year feeling like we felt, and again, minus the division title, but just 7-10, feeling good about, some of the wins, feeling good about some of the close losses, like, yo, that's a way better team than us, and we almost beat their ass on the road. That's what I'm looking for. We'll see. Michael Natoli, stand up. You are the newest member of the MOBB. And I want to make this, you know what? Let me give Michael his shine by himself. Appreciate you, Michael. Mob, you know what to do. Show Michael some love. Welcome him with open arms. Michael Natoli, welcome to the squad. Glad to have you. I got another super chat that, or another member that I need to give some love to. And he personally hit me up, was like, bro, I don't know what happened, but I became a member and I need my recognition. So Michael Miller, another Mike. So we're gonna go Mike and Mike right now. Michael Miller, stand up. You are the newest member also of the MOBB mob. You know what to do. Show Michael Miller some love. Welcome him with open arms. Michael Miller, welcome to the squad. Glad to have you. Welcome aboard, Michael Natoli and Michael Miller. Benjamin Slade, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy Benjamin writes, Lou, semi-joking here. I've been getting my therapy from you, good and bad, for 4 years rather. And drinking your funky Kool-Aid. Don't be doing any campaigns on Quinn or our new quarterback. I ain't doing that. I already told you I'm done. I'm not doing no more campaigns on players, coaches, none of that. I'm done. I'm out of that game. I retired from that game. Sam Howell retired me. I invested a lot in that campaign, and I was ready to press the button, and then he self-imploded, and I said, nah, never again. So I'm out of that game. You don't have to worry about me selling you nothing like that, Benjamin. We good. We good. I'm out of that game, man. I'm out of that game. Michael Natoli, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being the newest member of the MOBB, who writes, new member here. Do you see DQ bringing any players with him? I think it is quite possible. We see that he's bringing coaches with him, which is, normal. That's a natural progression. When a coach leaves one destination, he usually brings coaches with him. Same with players. It's really common for a coach to leave one place and bring players. We saw EB come as a coordinator last year. What did he do? He brought some players with him. He had brought Marcus Kemp, the wide receiver. He ultimately didn't make the team, but he was here from Kansas City. We saw a receiver that did make the team. What was my man number 3, the receiver? Oh, crud buckets. Why can't I remember his name? Y'all know who I'm talking about. He came from Kansas City. Obviously, Andrew Wiley came from Kansas City. And I think there was one more chief that came here. Not sure, but you get where I'm going with that. There were a few players from Kansas City that he vouched for that ended up here in Washington. And I think you could see that with Quinn for sure. I don't know. I don't know what Dallas's roster looks like. I don't know what the contractual situation of some of those players are. But if there are a few players that fit the time frame, that are players that Quinn loved in Dallas, that he feels like would be great additions here, that would help kind of set the culture to the way he would like it to be set, then Pringle. Thank you, Justin Goins. Byron Pringle came from Kansas City. So I do believe Gore, the running back, Gore came from Kansas City as well. He had experience with EB. So I expect Quinn to bring over probably 2 or 3 dudes that he's comfortable with from Dallas. Would be my guess. I don't think they're going to be any big names or anything like that, but a couple of guys that I think may be tone setters, culture setters for him. Benjamin Slade, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Benjamin writes, Jabril Cox today. No! Can you imagine getting fired from a job, go somewhere else, and your old boss is your new boss? Yeah, I mean, he ain't getting no run here, did Jabril Cox, so it didn't really matter. It's not like he came here, started playing, and then now the guy that, wouldn't give him any run in Dallas is now here in Washington. But, we'll see. We'll see. If it could be a blessing in disguise for Jabril Cox, who knows? But it could be exactly what you said, which is, didn't go work out for him there, and then he comes here and he's like, this dude again, right? King of the Bluegrass, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. King of the Bluegrass writes, I think Jamin Davis is going to be more utilized on the edges where he belongs with his speed and quickness, less thinking, more attacking in open space. I don't know if that's going to be the case. We'll see. I think you might see Jamin Davis as a blitzer more, but not like attacking off the edge like how we saw with Micah Parsons. I don't see them using him as like a defensive end or anything like that, but I could see him being a bit more aggressive as a blitzer in Quinn's scheme, which I think he was underutilized. A guy like Khaleke Hudson, if he's back, and I don't know if he will be, I think he'd be a perfect fit for Dan Quinn's scheme. Perfect fit. That's the kind of players that Quinn usually gets the most out of, guys like Khaleke Hudson. So, guys that can run, that can make plays, that have a specialty. You can use him as a blitzer down around the line of scrimmage. I can see Khaleke Hudson being someone that Dan Quinn takes a strong liking to, if he's still here. Again, I think his contract is up, so we'll see. Benjamin Slate, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, I think our cap space brings in players that would have never come here. I don't know if the cap space has anything to do with that. If Washington decides to pay somebody more than the rest of the market is willing to pay them and they are out for money, yeah. But if you're just talking about, they got a bunch of cap space, I'm going to go to Washington, I don't know how that impacts a decision that a player makes. Usually, can you get me the best deal that I can possibly get? Or is this a comfortable position for me? Is this a place where I really want to go? Sometimes it's not always about money. It's about fit. It's about closer to home, whatever. Tax bracket, or state tax. There's all kinds of decisions that go into where guys sign sometimes. But I don't think the salary cap space that Washington has factors into that. Or unless you're saying because we got so much money, we can go out and get guys that we wouldn't have been able to go get. I don't think they're going to be spending that type of money like that. But if that's what you're referring to, sure. We got enough money that we can go splurge and spend if we really want to. Layla Brown, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Layla writes, from what my father told me, I'm good off Chip. Hey, your father sounds like a very wise man, one that I wouldn't mind quoting. Yeah, I'm good off Chip. Me too, Layla. Me too. CGM87. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. CGM87 writes, Lou, I know you liked the Daniel X joke. I don't recall. I don't recall the joke. I think I remember seeing something with it, but I was all over the place. So I don't know if I saw. I'm trying to see if I can find it real quick. I don't think I'm going to find it, though, because my timeline is crazy today, as you would imagine. Yeah, I can't find it. So if I find it and it's funny, I'll be sure to bring it up if I remember down the line. But I don't see it. And clearly it was probably your joke and you thought it was funny. And maybe I liked it and laughed at it. If it was funny, then I laughed at it. But man, I see so much stuff. You got to forgive me. Charge it to my head and not my heart. Coach Kev, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Coach Kev writes, I'm personally a fan of the pistol offense. To me, it's the most effective for play action, zone run, move in the pocket, slants, short and downfield shots. I think Chip might be a good look for that. I don't have I don't have as much hate for the pistol as I do shotgun, because with the pistol, you can still run left or right. Like in gun, you've already cut half of the field off, essentially, unless you're going to have your running back take the ball from you, stop and pivot almost like a counter. You can't run to the opposite way your back is. Either he can run straight or run, outside in the direction that he takes the handoff. He can't go the other way unless literally he stops his feet and cuts back the other way. In the pistol, you can still go left, you can still go right. Like you said, you can still run play action fake. There's a lot of things you can do out of the pistol. It's not just the fact that it's the pistol that I'm not as excited about. Because we ran a lot of pistol in 2012 with Robert, and the shit was very effective, and the play action was very effective. It's the fact that he likes to run that tempo shit too. And so there's a lot of nuance to the offense. Chip, and again, I haven't seen Chip Kelly, the OC. I've seen Chip Kelly, the head coach. Are those two different entities, or are they the same guy? Because Chip was calling the plays, not like he gave that responsibility to somebody else when he was the head coach. So the question is, has he evolved? Has he gotten better? Because the last time I saw Chip Kelly in an NFL, on an NFL field, calling his plays, he was getting his ass whooped in San Francisco. So I am not a fan of Chip Kelly. I just really want more traditional offense with wrinkles. I don't mind gun. I don't mind pistol. I don't mind RPOs, all of that shit. More power to you. The more diversity you have, the better. But can I get some under the center handoffs, play action fake? Can I get some of that stuff? I just want open receivers, easy throws from my quarterback, run after the catch opportunities. You know how refreshing it was to watch the Texans offense last year and see how many guys were just running wide open with a rookie quarterback making it easy on them. I would love some of that. If Chip Kelly can get us that. Look, I'm open-minded. I really don't want Chip Kelly here. I put him on the do not hire list. But I'm way more open-minded to him than I am EB. I want no parts of Eric Bieniemy. But I don't want Chip Kelly either. Just being honest with you. You're not wrong about the pistol. But I'm good on Chip Kelly. Ben Hanniger, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Ben writes, given what's left of the pool for OC, I'm liking the possibility of Brian Greasy with the 49ers connections and all. It's going to be interesting to see if we're making too much of these connections to San Francisco. First of all, I do think that Adam Peters has a plan. That's what I've told myself. I've convinced myself. Adam Peters has a plan for what he's going to do on offense. But also he has to consult with the head coach. It's his team. And he may have a vision for how he wants things to go. And so you have to take that into consideration. But I really would like to see somebody get an opportunity to be an OC that maybe hasn't done it before. What do you have to lose here in Washington? We starting from nothing, man. We starting from the ground, the bottom. I want some freshness. Somebody with some innovative ideas. Somebody with a different set of eyes that are like, you know what? This is how I see it. I see it from this vantage point. That's what I'm looking for. But will we get that? I don't know. But, I've heard Greasy's name recycled a bunch of times. I've heard Clint Kubiak's name recycled a bunch of times. because of the connection in San Francisco. Will Adam Peters reach back in his San Francisco bag and grab something and pull it along with him? Maybe. Or maybe he'll allow Dan Quinn to pick his head coach or offensive coordinator and won't really be a part of that process. Who knows? We'll see. I think they're picking from a different pool. Because the OC pool that everybody's picked out of already, that's pretty shallow at this point. There's not much left. But we'll see. When I say that, I mean, maybe he is picking from that 49ers pool of young, talented guys from the Shanahan tree. Maybe. And I don't know if I would necessarily call Brian Griese young at this point. Griese played in the league, in the 90s, maybe the early 2000s. And he was out of football for a very long time, doing broadcasting and things of that nature. And then he got an opportunity. Brian Griese's probably pushing 50 at this point. He's probably like 48. I'm actually interested now. Wouldn't exactly call him a spring chicken, but he's new. He would be new to an offensive coordinator position, and he knows the position. He was a former quarterback, so there's that as well. But see how old Brian Griese is. 48. Damn, I'm good. Yeah, Brian Griese's 48. So, but he would be a new set of eyes, right? So we'll see. Enigma RJ, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Enigma, right? If it came down to two people for OC, who would you pick, Chip or EB? Somebody asked me that earlier. I'd roll with Chip. I don't want no parts of EB. He rubbed me the wrong way last year so badly because he never attempted to adjust. He was stuck in his ways. He refused to run the football consistently. He didn't get the ball to his playmakers. There was just so much fundamentally wrong with his approach to playing offense. He didn't attack blitzes correctly or at all for that matter. He didn't do anything to settle in a young quarterback, to make him comfortable. He didn't get the ball out of his hands quick enough, often enough. Look, I'm not telling you that there weren't always answers for Sam, but a lot of times there weren't answers for Sam. Against blitz pressure, there was no answers for Sam. A lot of times. There's just too much fundamentally wrong with what EB was doing. It's just too much fundamentally wrong. We saw poor spacing with the receivers running routes and shit. I've never seen that much poor spacing in one season in my life. Guys running in the same vicinity, and you're like, bro, that can't be how that shit was drawn up. No, I'm good. Give me Chip Kelly. If you force me to pick between the two, I don't want neither one of them. Let me make that abundantly clear. But if you force me to pick between the two, give me the Chipster. All right. So that was the last super. What we'll do now is we'll open up the phone lines real quick. And y'all want to jump on the phone lines, y'all can for a little bit. We'll take a few comments, a few calls rather, and just get y'all opinion on what's going on. Let y'all talk about everything. So you want to call in, the number is there. Remember, 5-minute limit. Understand your 5 minutes. Try to be cognizant of it. I will jump in, hit you with that. Hey, man, appreciate you for calling. I'll hit you with it quick, right? Please don't make me bang on anybody. I don't want to do that. That's not who I am. Please don't make me do that, right? So phone lines are open. You want to call in, by all means, please make it happen. If not, we'll get out of here. It's been a very long day. It's been an exciting day, but it's been a long day, right? So, and we'll work in the supers, with the calls. So, all right, we had a call. That call is now gone. So, Anyway, thought I had a comment here. That I don't see that one either. Let's see. I don't know why that comment's not showing up, but it's not showing up on my screen. There we go. What happened to that one? I see a I don't know why that one didn't show up, but JLG, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. JLG, thank you for being a member of the MOBB rights. Do you think Ron Rivera would have been successful with Peters? It's hard to say. I just don't think Ronald Rivera is a great coach. So would he have still made the same mistakes in game? I think he would have. Still think he wouldn't have gone for two. Still think he would have kicked the field goal when he should have gone for it on fourth down. Still think he would have called timeouts or not called timeouts when he should have. I think those things would have still existed. I still think adjustments wouldn't have been made. The team would have come out lethargic when they came out lethargic after halves to start games. Seasons might have still started slow. Would the talent have been greater? Maybe that would have helped. But Ron, would he have still put his foot in his mouth? Probably. I don't know if any of that changes. So I'd say no, he probably wouldn't have been successful, is my guess. But I can't say that with 100% certainty. Craig Harrison, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. My guy Craig writes, this is a good thing. I'm just now getting on, got to catch up, but I see Andy Reid, Pete Carroll, etc. Sometimes you need to be humbled to be able to win the entire thing the next time. Bring Chip Kelly in as the OC. I was riding with everything you said up until the Chip Kelly part. I was very adamant about, look, let's just give him a chance and see what happens. Right? Like, guys have had successful second acts. You can't condemn a guy for not getting it done the first time and just sending him to coaching purgatory and saying he can't win because of what happened the first time. And it's extremely hard for the fan base right now is we're literally just coming off of a coach that got a chance as a retread, and it absolutely looked like how he performed the first time he was a coach. Except we never went to a Super Bowl, and there was no massive season where he won big here like it was in Carolina. There was no 12-4. There was no 15-1 like there was in Carolina. There was no 11-5. Just 7-9, 7-10, 8-1, and then this past year at 4-13. So a lot of fans are skeptical because of Quinn's record. He's 43-42 overall, 3-2 in the postseason. And so everything looks mid, right? Barely above 500 in the regular season, barely above 500 in the postseason. But same thing Rivera had, 6 seasons as the head coach, only 2 of them resulted in winning seasons. So we'll see what happens. I'm excited about this. Dan Quinn is getting an opportunity here in Washington. He's going to bring a lot of energy. I felt like, we all used to make fun of Ron and the arms folded and arms crossed and all that. He's going to bring energy. He's going to bring accountability. Guys, like, this was the first year. I think the first 3 years, guys were actually playing for one another. This was the first year. Montez Sweat even said this when he went to Chicago. And dudes were playing for themselves. Right? Nobody was playing for the guy next to him. We're going to see a return to that happening this year. Guys playing for one another, actually truly loving each other and wanting to win and wanting to get it done for the guy next to him. And, you know, we'll see. I'm most excited for Peters and what he's going to do in free agency in the draft. And, you know, this first year is a foundational building block type of year. I want to see what he does. I don't really think free agency is going to be that big of a building block this year. We'll see. I could be wrong. There could be I remember what the 49ers did, and we went through this already in that first year. Kyle wanted to go get a few dudes that he trusted. Kyle Juszczyk, I think, was one of them. He went and got Pierre and spent some good money on him. So there were some big ticket items that they purchased that first year, but it was a lot of small purchases. Maybe that's what we see here, and that's what I'm expecting. But maybe there's some big ones too. You know, I'm not in on Chip. I'm not in, but I'm listening to y'all. Like somebody brought up Jaden Daniels and how that could be a great fit. I'm listening. You know, Coach Kev came in and said, I'm a big fan of the pistol. You can run, you know, you can run the ball out of there. You can go play action fake out of there, get to the quick passes out of pistol. I'm listening, and he's not wrong about any of that stuff. And I think about Robert in 2012, and I think about the pistol and Kyler Murray in Arizona when he runs it, and it can be effective. I'm listening. Still not sold, but I'm listening. I told you my mind's open. I try not to be too close-minded about things, especially opportunities that I haven't seen here in Washington. If I've seen you with my own two eyes, I've experienced you, and I know what to expect, I'm good. That's why I want no parts of EB. That's why Ronald Rivera is no longer here, and I don't want Ronald anywhere near this team, this organization. We watched it. I don't need an encore. But somebody that wasn't here, that failed elsewhere, doesn't mean he's going to fail here. So we'll see. I mean, and that's what Cowboys, you know, Eagles fans were saying about Ron Rivera. Cowboys fans may be saying about Ron Rivera. Just because he failed in Washington doesn't mean he's going to fail here as a defensive coordinator. Touche. Good luck with your linebacker whisperer. Good luck. Anyway, Craig Harrison, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, appreciate the hard work and insight, sir. Keep being Louie T, the go-to on all your Commanders skins info. Hey, I appreciate you. I appreciate y'all checking in with the kid, holding me down. There's so many places now that you can get your Commanders info from, but y'all show up religiously here, support the kid, interact, because y'all just showing up is one thing, but interacting, being a part of the conversation in the comment section, super chatting, etc., y'all make this what it is. So I appreciate you guys, man. So thank you so much, Craig, and to everyone else out there. Really, truly do appreciate all of you guys. But with that said, or Craig again, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Did I double up? Double up. I don't know if I doubled up the last time, which was your double up, but if not, I just did it this time. Craig Harrison, thank you for the super chat. Who writes, I've had shits that that have had more potential than I thought that's where you were going with that. I was like, maybe I'm reading this wrong, right? Hey, chill, bro. Chill, Craig. Chill. Chill. Oh, man. I cannot with y'all. Some of y'all are crazy. Oh, my God. He says, I've had shits that have had more potential than EB does on building off plays and play structure. It was ridiculous. He didn't build off of anything. Like, I remember saying last year, I think this dude is just calling random plays off his sheet. It was comical last year. Nothing made sense. Nothing made sense last year. So I'm like, that's not even an option for me. So I've been asked multiple times tonight, Chip or EB. It's not even close. Give me Chip. I don't want either of them. Let me make that abundantly clear once more. I don't want either of them. But if you're forcing me to choose, without a doubt, give me the Chipster. Ain't shit to talk about. Anyway, I digress. All right. Well, I think that's the last super. Okay, I finally got a call. I was about to get out of here on y'all. You're on live with your man Louie T. Who am I speaking with?
Yeah, man. Just want to make a comment to Louie.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Oh, hey, listen, I appreciate the show. Watch it every day, and I'd like to. Everybody keeps pointing towards drafting a quarterback number 2. We got so many holes in our team. What about dropping back and taking Atlanta's first pick, swapping with them, picking up J.J. McCarthy, Bodix, somebody else later down the line on quarterback, and add extra picks.
I mean, that is one way of trying to attack, but you were, so this is the prevailing thought, is that you sucked bad enough last year to earn the 2nd overall pick. Do you want to give the right to draft a quarterback at 2 away to a team that didn't suck enough, just so you can plug up some more holes? We've talked about this notion of getting blue chip players, right? Getting the best possible talent that you can get. You're giving that away if you trade back, and you're settling a game.
I hear you, but you can put. I don't care if you put Drake May. I don't care if you put Caleb Williams. If you put any of them behind the offensive line and the scheme that EB made Howell play in last year, I don't see anybody getting away with that. Just like they did Jeff Burrow.
Yeah, and
I mean, that's my take on it. Because I tell you what, first part of the year, everybody loved Sam Howell. He was the man. He had the arm. He could make all the throws. And now everybody's kind of tossed him to the side. I'm not so sure. The guy, he ain't lost all his mojo. Sam's got mojo. He just put him in a bad spot.
I don't disagree with you. I think he can play, but I think what turned a lot of people off, first of all, the fact that we're drafting 2 put him in a tough spot. Like I said, if we were drafting 7th, they might not take a quarterback, right? He might have had another opportunity, but because he played so poorly down the stretch and we didn't win any games, it put us in a position to be drafting 2nd, and you pretty much put them in a position to draft your replacement. But I'll say this, he didn't handle, like, they didn't put him in great positions. EB didn't put him in great positions. The coaching staff didn't put him in the best positions to succeed. We talked about that ad nauseum. I truly believe if he would have been set up for success, if this would have been a different outcome, and we wouldn't be having the conversation about drafting a quarterback. That said, he didn't play well. He made poor decisions. He held on to the ball. He started seeing ghosts. Like, he looked like a quarterback that lost his confidence. They broke him. By the time we got to about week 12, the last good game Sam Howell played was week 10 against Seattle. We didn't see another good performance out of him. We saw flashes, right? We never saw a start to finish game where we said, man, Sam gave us a chance. And he literally broke down the stretch. He broke. He didn't look like the same guy that we watched earlier in the season.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean he's not the same guy. As far as I'm concerned, I think with a good coaching, and you take some of those extra draft picks along with sending Jonathan Allen out to Green Bay for 2 more and give us 13 picks in this draft, you talking about plugging holes. We could fix our whole team that way. And I would bet money Sam Howell would. It's just like everybody is saying, because the guys that get these short, quick passes, they run receivers open, and Sam could stand there and pick them apart all day if he had the time. Like, well, look at Watson. He had 3 seconds to throw footballs all day, and he couldn't pass the ball.
Look, you preach it to the choir. I started a campaign behind that man. I thought he was going to be able to do it, and for the first 10 weeks, I felt vindicated. But as we saw,
It didn't work out, and I don't think that he's going to get another opportunity. And we knew that going into the season that Sam was going to have one opportunity to get it done, and unfortunately, he didn't get it done. So,
all right, I got you.
Yeah.
So, but all right, just one last thing with Louie.
Yep.
All right, it's with the second pick.
Mhm.
All right, yeah, you've got those top three quarterbacks: Jalen, Caleb, and Drake, right? You don't have bad quarter. You still got some nice quarterbacks behind them. Penix, Bo, McCarthy. I mean, these guys are all not bad quarterbacks.
They're not.
But my point is, are those top three guys? One of those top three guys, are they worth two good offensive linemen?
All right,
I'm not so sure.
I'm gonna take that one off the air. I got you. I'm gonna answer that right now. Have a good one, man.
All right, man.
Take care.
All right, man. All right, you too. Thanks, man.
So essentially what he was asking is that gap big enough between the first three quarterbacks and the other quarterbacks that'll be in the draft? The Penixes, as he mentioned, the Bo Nixes, the JJ McCarthy's. If he comes out, did he declare? Did JJ McCarthy declare? I'm assuming he did with let me just check. I saw somebody talking about him. I want to say it was Daniel Jeremiah, so that would lead me to believe that he declared. Yeah, he did. So I would assume that he knew Harbaugh was going, so he didn't need to come back to school. And I've seen people say, "Hey, I really like JJ McCarthy." Right? We'll see. I don't think that you can pass up an opportunity. And again, I haven't watched yet. I plan on watching here now that the coaching situation has been resolved. I plan on watching, but I don't think you can pass up on one of these dudes at the top of the draft to go and get a lesser quarterback and try to plug holes on your roster, because the quarterback is the most important thing. And I know people keep harping about the offensive line and you can't put them behind this, but I've said this before. I don't know, you guys kill me for this, but the line wasn't as bad as you think. It was bad at times, but when they made some of those changes to the line, and you can always scheme up an offense that can alleviate some of the pressure off of your offensive. The Texans' offensive line wasn't great last year but they ran the ball, they ran play action fake, and that allowed them and afforded them the opportunity to get CJ Stroud the time he needed to get guys wide open. Those are some long developing plays. But because they ran the ball, they moved the pocket, half boots, things of that, they changed the location, the launch point for the quarterback. There are things you can do to give your quarterback more time to throw the football. I just don't think you can afford to pass up an opportunity to take a quarterback. If that could potentially be a leap to go get a lesser quarterback so that you can draft other positions. The quarterback position is too important to me. It's just too important. Jason Files, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Jason writes, Lou, thank you for being a member of the MOBB. He writes, Lou, what's up? What's up, Jason? Late to the party. Can we turn lemons into lemonade? Thoughts on Quinn on his OC and DC picks and second overall pick? I don't know what he's going to do at offensive coordinator. That's been one of the hottest topics that we've discussed during today's scuttlebutt of his hiring is what he's going to do with OC. A lot of people have put a lot of weight into that decision. The initial conversation surrounding Chip Kelly is not one that I think many are fond of, including myself. Some people seem to be okay with that idea. I am not. I hope that is just preliminary discussion. I hope that's just a rumor. That's not really something that they've explored to greater details, rather. But we'll see. We get a lot of rumors, and then it becomes groupthink, and then we come to find out later on down the line that wasn't us. We never said that shit. That's what y'all said. So we'll see.
But Jeremy Fowler isn't just some random Joe Schmo on social media. So as far as the defensive coordinator, we think we're getting Joe Whitt Jr. from Dallas. That'll be a great addition to the staff if that is in fact the case. He was with Dan Quinn in Atlanta his final year in 2020. He also came to Dallas with Dan Quinn, and I just missed the call. And he was his secondary and pass game coordinator for the Cowboys, defensive pass game coordinator, and did wonders. Him, along with Al Harris in particular, did wonders for that Cowboys secondary. Wonders. So, got a call. I'm going to go ahead and take it. You're on live with your man, Louie T. Who am I speaking with?
Joe Rockhead.
What's going on, Joe?
I'm doing good. Yourself?
I'm doing well, man. Talk to me.
Cool. I'm fighting the cold, so I'll make this real quick. What would you do if the OTAs, what would you say we do? OTAs, preseason, training camp, Sam looked better than whoever we drafted to.
Mm-hmm.
Like going into the preseason, by the time it's all said and done with your own eyes, Sam looks better than whoever it is we drafted.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say we do?
And
I'm out.
all right, man. Feel better, man. Feel better.
Good thing. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. That's a very realistic possibility. I mean, understand that whomever they bring in here will be making that transition from college football. The game will be speeding up. They'll be learning a new offense. This isn't an offense where you look to the sidelines and see a bunch of, cards being held up with people's faces on it. Like you actually, man, they'll have a wristband on. Like they'll make it easy on them. But is that guy going to be able to come in here and set protections? Is that guy going to be able to come in here and be comfortable reading NFL defenses? Are they going to cut the field in half, or is he going to have to make full field reads? All of these things are going to be taken into consideration. Sam will be ahead of the curve because he's played in the league now. He's got a full season under his belt. I wouldn't be shocked if he played better than the guy that they drafted. That doesn't mean you don't play that guy. If that quarterback is capable of protecting himself, setting protections, understanding where his outlets are, and he knows enough of the offense that they don't have to cut it in half or dumb it down, and he's ready to play, you play him. Even if Sam looks better, you play him because he needs that experience. It's invaluable. If he can't protect himself, if you've got to dumb down the offense, or you've got to, it's to the point where you got a third of the offense you can't even call, two-thirds of the offense you can't even call because this guy just can't comprehend everything and digest it all. And he's stunting the growth of the offense and the team. Then that's when you got to go with the veteran, in this case, Sam. But I give you a great example. In Indianapolis, Gardner Minshew probably gave the Colts the best chance to win. And they won a bunch of games. I got a call. We can take that. You're on live with your man, Louie T. Who am I speaking with?
Hey, I'm doing Omar from Jersey.
What's going on, Omar?
Hello?
Hello? What's going on, Omar?
Oh, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, man.
Okay, yeah, just making sure. Yeah, I was just calling. I'm an Eagles fan. I really appreciate all the work you do, man. You do your thing. You grind it all for the Washington fan base and all. But I just had a quick viewpoint. I know that everybody right now is kind of like, in the division at least, laughing at everybody's coordinator signings because we all know they're all pretty much retreads or, failed projects in a sense.
Right.
But if we had to say of all the coordinator signings that are happening, obviously the most interesting is the Eagles because they are coming from a standpoint of recent stability. And if they could just get a sense of that back, I really feel like they have enough talent, including the talent they're probably going to acquire this offseason. Because we know Dallas lost Dan Quinn, which was probably one of the biggest strengths of their team. He's not there no more, so we're not really scared of Dallas like that no more. And it's like, who's left? The Giants don't have a quarterback, really. Y'all might get one, but, you got to go through your growing pains. So everything's just pointing in the direction for Kellen Moore just to, you feel me, tighten the ship a little bit. So I just wanted to see, like, I get it. everybody gonna laugh because that's what we do as family members. But y'all low-key should be a little scared of what the Eagles could do, especially if they get a little stability from the offensive coordinator. I'm just saying.
So I'll say this. Omar. Obviously, y'all were the team that has had the best run here over the last, 3 years or so. I mean, Dallas has gone 12-5 3 years in a row, but they haven't made it past the divisional round. So,
Right.
your success is the greatest that the division has seen in the last 3 years with making it to the Super Bowl last season. But I will say this. You guys flamed out so badly at the end of the season this year to where now people are questioning, and I don't believe this, but people are even questioning if A.J. Brown is going to be back, if he's played his last snap as an Eagle. I don't buy that. I don't think it's gotten to the point.
That's just propaganda. You know how that goes.
Yeah.
They already say he's coming back. They know the inside.
Yeah. I don't buy that at all. But I can just tell you this. It got ugly last year, and the head coach is still there, and he was a part of that. And if this thing starts off slow this year, it could get ugly fast in Philadelphia. You know it as well as I do. So,
of course, but
if
that's why. I feel like they're painting it out for where Sirianni either it works for him or it don't, because they're ready to kick him out the door. They just looking for a reason. So if you give him one, you feel me, tell him he might get promoted, or if he's a failure, you feel me, they'll just have to find somebody else. But I feel like they're at the point where it was so bad, like you said, like Howie really don't care. Like he want to see something happen, whether it's good or bad. And he kind of did the same thing with Doug. So it just sucks to see it happen again. If that's the case, that's why I'm kind of hoping it kind of just balances out. Like if we just show some sense of success in the playoffs again, it don't got to be the Super Bowl, because obviously that's not easy to do every year. But if they have some success, like I feel like there will be, like, I don't know how to say it, like just like a light bulb would just click for him. But that's just wishful thinking, I guess, as a fan, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, good luck, man.
We all do it.
You pushing that Kellen Moore crack. Good luck, Omar.
Hey, man, what we gotta do? You doing the same thing with Dan Quinn. We all gotta
Hey,
do
look. It's the pot calling the kettle black, man. We all out here got our own struggles, man. I got the Quinn pack.
Hey,
you got the Kellen Moore pack. We all out here pushing something, man. I appreciate you, Omar.
That's what's right. That's what's right, man. Take care, bro.
Likewise. You on live with your man Louie T. Who am I speaking with?
It's Pharaoh, Louie T.
What's going on? Turn your monitor down. I can hear the echo in the background. Turn your monitor down.
Okay, I done turned it down.
All right.
Hey, Louie, I think it's just a problem, man. I think if our defense, man, would have helped out Sam Howell, man, I think Sam Howell would have been pretty good. Now, I'm disappointed in his defense. Not the offensive defense, man. I can't believe it.
Yeah. I told y'all before the season started, I was more worried about the defense than the offense. And I had people tell me I was crazy when I said that. Like, what are you talking about? We wouldn't have won the games we won last year without the defense. I'm like, I'm not talking about last year defense. I'm talking about this year defense. And I'm telling you, I'm worried about the defense. And even last year, when we won 8 games, remember the defense wasn't great. You know what I'm saying? We caught breaks, but at the end of the day, the defense wasn't great, and Sam would have won more than 4 games had we not had given up 34 to the Eagles in the first game and given up 30. What was it? Did they score 38 the second game? And he would have won more games if the defense it didn't give up 29 or whatever it was to Seattle. But at the end of the day, if he would have just finished the season off playing the way that he was starting to play, even if they'd have kept losing, but he kept playing well, we could have just pinned it on the defense and we would have said, hey, we got ourselves a quarterback. He didn't do that, though. He got worse.
He didn't do that. And my brother, man, a big time Kansas City Chiefs fan. And when we got EV, man, I was like
I wasn't excited, man, about EB. Hey, man, Andy runs that show over there, not EB. EB runs nothing. Andy runs that, man. Yeah. So I don't know why everybody was excited about him. I wasn't at all, man, about Eric B. I wasn't. Yeah. And guess what? You see what happened.
Right. We got excited because he was getting an opportunity, and we thought he was going to bring some of that Kansas City flavor over here, and it was going to look a lot like what they had.
Yeah, we had Mahomes.
Right. That helps a lot. That helps a lot. Having Kelsey and Mahomes, and that helps a lot.
But I'm gonna tell you this, hey, little kid. If Dan Quinn, man, would have been coaching this defense, I guarantee you, man, we would have been in the playoffs, man. I'm tell you that right now. Dan Quinn would have been coaching this defense we had, man. Because, hey, man, you got Jonathan Allen, you got Payne. You got, come on, man. You tell me, man, that these guys, that was a problem right there. To me, it was the defense. I think if they'd have helped out Sam Howell, we had an opportunity to go to the playoffs, man. Maybe. I believe that. I really do. I believe that. But Sam had no help, man. You threw the dude to the Lions, man. Come on, man.
They did.
What you expect? You know what I mean? So you gonna get May, or you gonna get man, you have no idea, man, what these guys gonna do. Yeah. No idea, none. You know what I mean? So I'm not sold if they did quarterback. Okay, but I know what Sam Howell can do if you put him in a good position. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I believe it. I still believe in him. I believe in giving him I know we got the second pick. I understand that. Mm-hmm. So you got to go for a quarterback. I still understand, but hey, you better get a good offensive coordinator too, man.
That's right.
Because Eric B ain't it, man. Really. And I rather have, they talk about Dan Quinn. Hey, man, Dan Quinn has been in the playoffs, man. We ain't smelled the playoff, man, in 7 years, man. Don't jump on the bandwagon, man. Dan Quinn, this and that. Just get to the playoffs.
That's right.
That's all I ask for, man. And you never know when you get there.
That requires winning. That requires winning.
That's right.
Yeah, we got to win.
Winning.
So we gonna see.
Quinn, he had one, man. He had one.
Ron had one. So. That's why. That's what a lot of people saying. Like, Ron had one of them seasons.
Who?
Ron had a season like that.
Yeah. But look who. Ron had the beast over there, man. Quarterback.
Yeah.
Man, and that hire with Ron, I didn't like that hire, man. I really didn't. I didn't like that hire, man. You know what I mean? But Dan Snyder the one that screwed that up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ever since that dude bought the team, man, we've been terrible. Since he bought the team. That's
glad
right
that that's over with now. So we don't have to worry about that no more.
No. Yeah, hey, man, I'm excited. You know what I mean?
You should be.
I believe in Dan Quinn, man. I believe the dude's going to bring some stability there, and I believe we'll get some playoffs. And I'm not worried about a Super Bowl. Just get me to the playoffs, man, please. That's all I need. Just give me instead of being the last team in the division. Come on, and guess what? Harbaugh, I would like to if we'd have got him. He had a better chance to dominate our division than he is when he go there against Kansas City. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hey, man, your run is going to be pretty hard there. But with us, hey, every year somebody different. Our division, we're in the division. What that tell you? You know what I mean? That division is wide open still, man. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Dominating. Eagles not dominating. You know what I mean? So I'm not worried about them Giants. Hey, I believe in Dan Quinn. Because the Cowboys, man, that defense was terrible, man.
It was.
They was awesome.
It was.
It was awesome, man. It was eating it. And like I said, I believe if Dan Quinn had been coaching our defense, man, I believe we'd have been in the same. And that Sam would have won more games than he won, man. A lot of times, man, the defense need to help the offense too sometimes, man. Come on now.
Hey, I appreciate you. I appreciate you calling, man. I appreciate you.
All right, buddy.
Have a good one.
You too, buddy.
All right. I didn't know this was going to turn into a Sam Howell therapy session. Like, y'all got to let it go, man. Y'all preaching to a guy that started a campaign around Sam Howell. and I let it go. Okay? Y'all got to do the same thing, man. We went into the season knowing that Sam Howell was going to get a year, because if he didn't play well enough, Ron was going to be fired. And if Ron got fired, he more likely than not would not be getting another opportunity with the next group coming in. Now, we could not have anticipated that we would have the second overall pick, which would put us in a situation where you would be right in the heart of quarterback territory. But that's where we are. And because of that reality, the likelihood is, it's not a guarantee, but the likelihood is they're taking a quarterback. So we could talk about Sam until our face turns blue. We've already done this. We did that all season long. I sat here, ranted and rated about Sam not being protected, Sam not having an offense that was tailored to his skill set, Sam not having an offense that was designed to get the ball out of his hands, not having a screen game, all of the things, not having play action fake that really actually freezes the defense. Like the little things that you need to have to give your quarterback easy throws. Those things weren't afforded to him. They didn't run the football enough. We know all of the issues. We know all of the things. The defense sucked. We know all of the things that could have been better, that could have been done in a more effective and efficient manner that would have given Sam a better chance to succeed. Those things didn't happen. But at the end of the day, when he needed to make plays, when he needed to give himself a chance, he always made the soul-crushing mistake. He always threw the pick. He always took the sack. He started seeing ghosts. At the end of the day, Sam is not going to be the starting quarterback next year. Not initially. I can't tell you what will ultimately happen, but he won't. He's not the future of this franchise. He won't be. Not after the draft. They're taking a quarterback. So, J Mark, been a member for 27 months. Who writes, thank you for being a member of the MOBB, by the way. What coach or players should be pulled from Dallas? I talked about it already. I would love to see them pull Al Harris if they could. Dirty, I would love to see them pull him as well. All right. Those are guys that I would love to see them pull and add to this staff if they could. I don't know what position you could give Aiden Dirty to pull him away, because he's a defensive line coach. What kind of title could you give him that would give him an upgrade that would allow Dallas to not be able to block him from leaving? I don't know. Same thing with Al Harris. I don't know if defensive pass game coordinator is a higher title than that of defensive backs coach. But those are guys that I would love to see them, bring over to Washington. Those are teachers. Those are guys that I think maximize the talent that they're given. I would love to see those guys here in Washington coaching up some of the talent that exists here in Washington. G's Outside. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. G's Outside writes, Chip Kelly would be an excellent hire, especially with these top quarterbacks. Chip Kelly never had a problem with his offense in the NFL. Let's see. I know he had a nice little run in Philly early on, but I'm not sure that run was as good as some of y'all make it out to be. Maybe you guys are right. Maybe his offenses were really good in the NFL and his defenses sucked because he was doing that hurry up offense shit. Who knows? Let's find out. Let's get to the bottom of this. Let's see. They went 10-6. I remember that first year they won the division, and I think they lost to the Saints in the first round. Yep. Remember that. Second season, they went 10-6 again.
They failed to make the playoffs that year. They went 6-9. Kelly was fired, so he had 3 years in Philadelphia. 2016, I remember that was the year before Kyle came. They went 2-14. So now I'm interested to see Chip Kelly, NFL offensive rankings. Let's see if we get anything. So in 2013, the Eagles ranked 2nd in yards, 4th in points, 5th in touchdowns. In 2014, they ranked 5th in yards, 3rd in points. In 2015, when he got fired, they were 12th in yards. So they were the 12th rated offense in the NFL and 13th in points. So still not bad. Then in San Francisco, they were 31st in yards. So the second to worst offense in the league, and 21st or 27th, in points per game. So, yeah, by the time he left, the NFL kind of felt like they figured him out. Maybe he didn't have as much talent in San Francisco in 2016. I'm pretty sure that was the case, but still, it didn't end well for him. So I don't know. I'm not on the Chip Kelly bandwagon. I don't want him. I don't want anything to do with him. I would prefer to get somebody else that's been in the league, that's been in the NFL. This is not college football. Get you an NFL guy that's been a part of a staff that's been working to defeat NFL defenses, not college defenses, and let's roll. Like, I don't want any parts of Chip Kelly. S. Mackey, stand up. You are the newest member of the MOBB. Thank you for coming on board. Mob, y'all know what to do. Show S. Mackey some love. Greatly appreciate y'all for holding the kid down. S. Mackey, welcome to the squad. Glad to have you. So, got a call here. I'm going to take it. You're on live with your man, Louie T. Who am I speaking with?
This is Munad Salahuddin.
What's going on?
I just want to say, I think Jordan Travis is really not getting enough notoriety, and I think that we should try to get him.
You do realize he messed his leg up pretty decent at the end of the college football season. Like, it's the same thing that happened to Hendon Hooker. Like, first of all, I wasn't a Jordan Travis fan before the injury, and now with the injury, I think it's even less likely that he goes in day 1 or 2. He's probably a day 3 pick, if that, at this point. I don't even know where he would have gone had he not gotten injured, honestly speaking.
I think, to be honest with you, I really think the way that the NFL is going with the quarterback schemes now. Now, Dan Quinn, I can't say he's that type of head coach for talent like that. But Daniels, Drake May, because we got to hit it hard for this quarterback pick. But I really think Jordan Travis would be the guy, with that injury. But this is me now.
Yeah, I think you going down a dangerous path there. Like a lot of times during this draft season, people always want to try to find that gem, that diamond in the rough. We're not doing that at quarterback. Like, we sitting at 2. We don't have to try to find a gem in the 5th round like the 49ers did at the end of the draft, Mr. Irrelevant with Brock Purdy. We sitting at 2. We can draft a guy right here. So They're not going to try to explore options to see who they could get later in the draft. They right here. They're going to take one of these quarterbacks.
You know, it still hurts me for what we did with Mississippi State. You know what I'm saying? That pick we went with him, and you see how that turned out. And it's been a lot of quarterbacks that drafted that didn't have a high stock. Look at Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
Look at Mahomes.
Yeah, Mahomes, but he was a first round pick though.
Yeah, but I'm talking about just look how he set out, right?
You talking about his rookie season?
Right, his rookie season. He sit behind
Alex Smith.
Right. So my whole thing is I don't think Sam Howell's the guy no kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
But if we get somebody and have Jordan Travis sit back, learn the offense, I think that's gonna be the guy.
Okay. Hey, you go ahead and you sit there and continue to think that Jordan Travis, like, let me ask you this. You think he getting drafted? You think somebody gonna draft Jordan Travis?
He's gonna get drafted. I believe he's gonna get drafted.
Okay. We'll see. What is Jordan Travis? Is he like 5'11"?
Yeah. But he's a little taller than that, man. He's a little taller than that. You know.
Oh, man. Hey, man, I appreciate you calling in. You have a good one, man.
All right.
Take care. Hey, go ahead, man. Y'all are funny, man. Hey, let me say this one more time. We are drafting second overall. We're not trading back. We may trade up, but the likelihood that we trade back in the draft, slim and none. Okay, very low percentage that happens. Like less than 1%. We're either taking a quarterback at 2 or we're trading up to 1 to take a quarterback. And if we traded up to 1, you already know who it would be for. So all these alternate endings that you guys are coming up with where we trade out of 2 and pick up picks and Sam Howell can do this and that. Look, I'm one of the biggest Sam Howell supporters. I would love nothing more than Sam to resurrect his career so I can bust back out the new Howell order, merchandise. It ain't happening, though. Not here. I think Sam could be successful somewhere else in the league, but he's not getting that chance here. It ain't happening. We are taking a quarterback. And it ain't going to be Jordan Travis. We ain't trading back and taking J.J. McCarthy or Michael Penix Jr. We're taking one of the 3 quarterbacks that's slated to go in the top 5. Drake May, Jaden Daniels, or Caleb Williams. Williams will probably be gone, so we're pretty much picking from Drake May and Jaden Daniels. And as we know, usually when there's this cluster at the top of the draft, out of those guys, only one of them turns out to be any good. We got to hope that this is more like that 2021 draft, the 2020 draft with Burrow, Tua, and Herbert, and all 3 of them turned out to be pretty good, and a lot less like the 2021 draft where it was all those quarterbacks, Wilson and Lance and Lawrence, and they all went 1, 2, 3, and only Lawrence is any good, and even people are still questioning him at this point. Mac Jones stinks, and Justin Fields is about to be traded from the team that drafted. So we'll see what happens, but understand we're taking a quarterback at 2, guys. We're taking a quarterback at 2. So. Didn't think I would have to make that public service announcement. But I'm telling you, so that you can not waste your time coming up with these alternatives like Jordan Travis. What is Jordan Travis? What is he, like 5'9"? I know I just shrunk him by like 2 more inches. This guy's a toddler. You're on live with your man Louie T. Who am I speaking with?
Hey, Louie, it's Joe from SC, down South Carolina.
What's going on, Joe?
Hey, just wanted to, out of curiosity, why is nobody talking about Mark Brunell? He is the QB coach out in Detroit. And I think that he contributes a lot to Jerry Jones' progression. So I just want to get your thoughts on that.
I brought him up numerous times when I thought we were getting Ben Johnson. I said Ben could bring him along as his offensive coordinator, right? And a lot of what we were hearing was that he was going to bring Hank Fraley with him, which is the O-line coach in Detroit, as his OC, so that he could wrestle him away and make him his O-line / offensive coordinator coach here. But I talked about Brunell. As far as him going to a play caller, I don't know. I haven't heard anybody talk about him in that regard. I've only heard about, him being a quarterback's coach. Obviously, Detroit can block him from, going somewhere and making a lateral move. So if you're not going to promote him to offensive coordinator, the likelihood is you're not going to be able to get him away from Detroit. So I don't know. I mean, again, we need a quarterback's coach. So
Definitely.
I don't know if he could be poached away. But again, Detroit would hold all the cards there, because if you're giving him a lateral position, they can just say, nah, he's ours. So.
Right. Well, I just think that he'll be a good fit, being that, from raising the franchise, down in Jacksonville when he started out, and his experience with Washington. So I just think that he'll be a good fit as far as at least getting promoted to, I don't know what, like you said, I don't know what the next step up is from a quarterback's coach, but I honestly think that bringing him back into the fold will do a lot for our organization.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see once Ben Johnson finally moves on if he's a guy that's in line to maybe be promoted or not. I don't see him going anywhere right now, though. I don't see them losing any more of their staff members in Detroit. It looks like they're going to have pretty much their entire staff back, is what it looks like.
Okay. Well, I appreciate the time. I love what you do. Keep doing your thing, man.
Hey, I appreciate you, Joe, man. Have a good one. Take care.
All right, you too.
All right. Jack Miller, stand up. You are the newest member of the MOBB. Greatly appreciate you, my guy, Jack. Mob, you know what to do. Show Jack some love. Welcome him with open arms to the MOBB. Welcome to the squad, Jack Miller. Jeremiah, got a call. Let me take it. You're on live with your man, Louie T. Who am I speaking with?
Yeah. No.
Yeah, this is David.
This who?
This is David.
What's up, David?
Well, I think you're giving Chip Kelly a little bit too hard of a time.
Okay.
I believe if he does that it's high risk, high return. It could be an extremely explosive offense. More importantly, bringing in, it would increase the chances of us going Jaden Daniels. And he is really good.
Damn, lost you. You were breaking up already, David, but somebody brought that up. And I told you I'm open. I'm not closed-minded, and I did stamp the do not hire, right, on Chip Kelly, but I'm open-minded enough to be able to open back up that file and rip that up and listen to what y'all talking about. I still am not a Chip Kelly fan. I would like to go in a different direction, but my mind is open. If you come in with some facts and some things I can chew on a bit and say, you know what, maybe I can see that. The Jaden Daniels thing is interesting because I do think his style of play is a good fit potentially for what Chip Kelly wants to do. But still, that doesn't change the fact that I don't want anything to do with how Chip Kelly likes to operate. So I still want a traditional offense. I want to get under center. I want to be able to run it in the red zone. Like, these are things that I don't think you're going to be able to do with Chip Kelly, because I've never seen a Chip Kelly offense
run it under center. Okay. That's not to say that they don't. I don't recall seeing that happen in Chip Kelly's system. I want to be able to get inside the 5 and say, all right, we're getting under center. We're going to bring 3 tight ends in the game and we're going to run it, or we could even play action fake you. Like, I want to be able to do that. All right, let's try this again, David. You got better connection? Because you were cutting up before I lost you.
Yeah, that was a but yeah, I think Chip Kelly wouldn't be a horrible I believe bringing in our new head coach, we're going to lean more that way now. I don't think Drake May is viable because of if you want to go and win anything that matters, you're not going to do it with Drake May. His problem is accuracy. He's a lot like Josh Allen. When he's on, he's on. But when he's off, holy shit. Sorry. But so I think you go Jaden Daniels because his biggest problem is he has a tendency of pulling the ball down and running without looking down the field. Mm-hmm. That is easier to coach out of a quarterback when he has the arm already. Mm-hmm. And I believe I'm not comparing Jaden Daniels to Lamar, but I believe you start in a better place with Jaden Daniels than they did with Lamar. Because Jaden Daniels comes in with an already developed arm and the speed. Lamar had to come in to take a beating while he developed his arm. So I think it could be work. High risk, high return.
I mean, it's an interesting concept. I don't think I'm on board with it, but I want to see what they're considering. I mean, what kind of candidates are we talking about? We might not hear about all of the candidates that they're considering. We may just hear when they make a hire. Generally, this is not like the coaching search. You're not going to hear about every single candidate that they bring in. So we'll see.
So the thing with this is this could be because if you look at Chip Kelly and our new head coaches, Dan Quinn's history, they have a history of flipping teams immediately. Mm-hmm. Both. Now, sustained success, both have shown problems with, but you have to assume that Dan Quinn's probably learned. He went out of his way to find out why things went so wrong for him. He went back into the pot, built a really good defense for a really shit team in Dallas. I hate that damn team. But I think he's a good, stable hire. And I think you just take a chance on Chip Kelly because it's offense coordinator. You can change it out next year if it's the wrong pick. But if you get the return and you get the help in developing Jaden Daniels, that's worth more than the wins next year.
I'll say this. If he's successful, I don't think anybody's trying to take Chip Kelly away from you as a head coach either. But that's not like the deciding factor. That's not a reason why I would hire him. But that is a positive. That's a plus to that situation as well. But again, I still want a more traditional offense. Now, I've seen somebody in the comment section say that Chip's been running some traditional stuff under center too. I haven't seen it. I haven't been. I'm not, like I said, I'm not a massive college football fan, so I can't tell you what he's doing in UCLA.
I can tell you he's been running the ball.
Yeah.
And he's become extremely running back friendly.
He's always, even going back to LaMichael James at Oregon, he ran the ball. It wasn't that he didn't run it. It's just his style of running, I don't think is one that is easily replicated at the NFL level. And like somebody said, Shady had success under Chip Kelly. That's fine. But I still think the NFL's defenses have caught up. When he first came into the league back in 2013, I believe it was, there weren't a lot of teams running spread offenses, spreading you out, gun runs, pistol, all that stuff. That stuff was still relatively new. Like when Washington brought that with Robert Griffin III, that was innovative. Like, oh my God, look at this, right? They were running the same damn, drift route over the middle of the field because they had to deal with Robert. They had to deal with, he's going to hand it off. And then all of a sudden he pulls it out and Pierre Garçon's open 15 yards down the field over the middle, the football field. Like, it's different now. These defenses see that all the time. Like, I don't know if they're going to be as successful if Chip Kelly can come in and be successful as an offensive coordinator.
I would agree, except for one thing. He went back to college. Mm-hmm. He's been watching. And he didn't make it to the NFL by being a moron. This man sat back and been like, I need to get under center. I need to open up that screen game and more. And I need to, that's why I believe if he comes in, we're almost a lock on Jaden Daniels. If he's going to want that 4.34 speed. Because you may never run your quarterback, but when you got a quarterback with an arm like that, it just puts terror in the defenses.
David, I appreciate you calling in, man. Thank you.
Thank you, man. I watch you all the time.
I appreciate you. Likewise.
All right.
I do believe that David is on to something, and somebody said this earlier. If you get Chip Kelly as your offensive coordinator, I think Jaden Daniels is the pick. I really, truly do. Not that Drake May can't run Chip's offense, but I would think that Jaden Daniels would be a better fit. And remember, they had this conversation already. Don't fool yourself into thinking that Dan Quinn and Adam Peters and company haven't already had this conversation. They talked about the vision for the offense, the vision for the team overall, but they talked about the vision for the offense and what the plan could potentially be. And it may not just be one plan. That might be one scenario, like, hey, we might get this coordinator, right? We might get this guy. But if we don't get this guy, here's another option. We can go Jaden Daniels. We can go Chip Kelly. Like, that's another option. So just know that there are active discussions that are taking place, that have already taken place. Maybe that's one of them. Again, I would like a more traditional NFL offense. I would like some under center. I would like, a guy that has been around NFL offenses, around NFL defenses. Chip may be making adjustments and getting better as a play caller, but he's doing it at the collegiate ranks. I myself want a guy that has been in the NFL doing it in the NFL. I've seen guys come from college, massive success, get to the NFL. It's not the same. I watched Joe Brady tear it up at LSU with Joe Burrow and Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase and Clyde Edwards-Helaire and all of that talent, get to the NFL, get an opportunity, and wet the bed completely. Now, Chip has had some experience, so it wouldn't be as foreign to him, but it's not college football. You're not in the Pac-12. You're not playing against Oregon State. You're not getting to eat up Colorado. I'm not on board, but I understand what you guys are saying. And if they decide to do that, I'm going to roll. It ain't EB. I've never experienced Chip Kelly, so I'm open to it, but I don't want it. I don't want it. So, Jeremiah, been a member for 18 months. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, honestly, just get Caleb. Any other quarterback is iffy for me. Again, that's not in our control. We don't have the rights to the number 1 overall pick, so we're at the mercy of the Chicago Bears. They gotta make a conscious decision that, and I think the only way they don't draft Caleb Williams is if he says, I don't want to play for your organization. If he's willing to play for the Chicago Bears and there won't be any static, they're taking Caleb Williams. That's how I feel. Enigma RJ, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Enigma RJ writes, did Quinn have a quarterback in any of his head coaching stops? So he's only been a head coach once. And yes, he had Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan had an MVP season in 2016 when they went all the way to the Super Bowl. Kyle Shanahan was his offensive coordinator that year, though. So keep that in mind. But yes, Quinn got to the Super Bowl with prime Matt Ryan. Prime Matt Ryan was his quarterback, and they got it done. And Matt Ryan had a career year, won league MVP. So there's that. All right. So no more supers, no more calls. That's going to do it for me, your man Louie T. What an eventful day. Dan Quinn, new head coach of the Washington Commanders. Looks like we may have ourselves a defensive coordinator in Whitt Jr., who was brought over from Dallas as their secondary passing, defensive passing game coordinator. He may be coming over here to be our defensive coordinator. I think that'll be a great get. I still would love to try to poach two other coaches, Aiden Durde and Al Harris. Aiden Durde is their defensive line coach, and Al Harris is their defensive backs coach. I don't think we're going to be able to poach those two. I don't know what kind of title you would have to give them to be able to get them, but I am interested in those two coaches as well. But we will see ultimately what they decide to do, how they build up the rest of the staff. Our eyes will be peeled. I think we'll get some more hires, and we'll be all over this stuff. And I think we'll get some more hires tomorrow. I think we'll get some official word on whether Whitt Jr. is going to be added to this staff or not. And then we'll move on from there, right? The two big ones initially, defensive, offensive coordinator, but then filling out the rest of the staff is going to be important as well. So we'll see what happens. But in any event, Mike Jane, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Mike Jane writes, congrats on the new head coach, Lou. DQ is a former Gator. Yeah, he was their defensive coordinator. I appreciate it. It's not like we're over here over the moon about Dan Quinn, but there are certain things that I think we are starting to warm up to with Dan Quinn as the head coach. I'm just happy his shit is over, to be honest with you. I was just ready for it to be done, some finality. I was ready to just move on to the next thing. So from that standpoint, thank you. Yes, I'm so happy that this shit is over with. Felt like it was dragging on forever. So I appreciate you, Mike Jane. JB, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. JB writes, Lou, what do you think about quarterback Jaden Daniels? First tackle, Tyler Guyton, second round, linebacker Jeremiah Trotter, second round, tight end Cade Stover in the third. I think that the board will determine whether those are great selections or not. I got no issues with the first two. Linebacker in the second round, I don't know if that makes the most sense there. If there's an edge rusher you like, if there's a nickel there you like, if there's a tight end there. I know you took Cade Stover. I don't know if he's the athlete I'm looking for. He's a good tight end. I don't think he's the athlete I'm looking for, though. Like, he's a big-ass dude. He can run block. He's a good pass catcher, but I don't think he's an athlete. I don't know. He could be the next. I could be turning down the next. He's not even. Kelsey ran a 4.7 something. Or was that? What am I thinking about? I think Kelsey ran like a 4.63. Am I tripping? One of these good tight ends ran like a 4.75 or something. You don't have to be the fastest guy in the world to be a good tight end in this league. But man, I want me one of these fast dudes, man. I want one of these mismatched dudes. I don't think Cade Stover is that. Anyway, if there's no edge rusher, if there's no other massive position of need available, nickel, I wouldn't be opposed to Jeremiah Trotter in the second round. But Junior, that is. But I think you got to get an edge rusher in the second round, along with the defensive offense. I think if I had my preference, I'd probably go O-line, D-line, O-line, defensive end in the second round. But the board will determine what is good value there. I'm not looking to reach for a positional need. Get the best player available. We need just about everything. So to hell with, but we need X. No, get the best player available. We can use one of every damn thing. Jeremiah, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, can't wait to see this defense be aggressive again. That you're gonna get under Dan Quinn. If I can't assure you of anything else, I can assure you that you're gonna get a defense that's going to be aggressive, that's going to attack, that's going to fly around, and that will generate more turnovers than we've seen here in a very long time. I do believe that that's coming. Now, what the hell are we going to do on offense? I don't know, but we will see. Anyway, I digress. Y'all get out of here. Enjoy the rest of your evening, night, wherever you are, day. Head coaching search is behind us. Now it's about filling out the staff, and then we turn our attention to the start of the new league year, free agency, the draft, all that good stuff. So glad that's over. Anyway, y'all take care. I think I'll see y'all tomorrow. I may take tomorrow off. This has been a crazy day. May take tomorrow off. I'll see how I feel. Something crazy happens, you know I got to jump on. But if nothing happens, if it's a dead day tomorrow, I might take the day off. We'll see. Anyway, you guys have a good one. Take care. God bless. Good night.